and at all the other great programming right here on Rogers TV. The package I received from the merchants consists of 5 different cards. There's a different shape for each card. There'll be a shape for the L game, the I game, and so on, and we play the games in that order. I'll remind you which number card we're playing as we go. If you think you've got a winning card, please phone 1-866-808-0215. Notice the change in that number, the last digits of 5, not the 2 that's on your card. And please bring the card you're playing with you to the phone. You've got to tell us the number in the free space so we can compare with our computer whether or not that is indeed a good bingo. Here's basically how the show works. Let's say we're playing on the 3rd bingo card, which is the small O game. And somebody at home, we call 30 numbers, somebody at home thinks they've got a good bingo. They phone 1-866-808-0215. They bring that 3rd bingo card with them to the phone. They tell us the number in the free space, and the computer says, yes, that's a good bingo. At that point, a 10-minute window opens up for other people to call in and declare a bingo, because it's quite possible we could have several winners on a given game. Sure enough, 2 minutes later, somebody else phones in, and they also bingo on the 30th number. Those 2 people would share the prize board equally. However, it isn't necessarily the first person who phones in who's actually the bingo winner. It's the person who bingos on the earliest number called. So, if within that 10-minute window, that's an absolute rule, if within the 10-minute window somebody else phones in and says, gosh, I bingo on the 29th number, then they take precedence, and I'm afraid the 2 people who phoned in earlier are just out of luck. It's the way we have to do it because of the nature of phone systems. Those are the general rules we have for our show. Let's take a look at the rules for our very first game, which of course is the L game. The L game is everything under the B and across the bottom of the board, making an L shape. Prize board is $500. So let's load up the machine and play the L game. Here we go. First number up is an I-26. I-26. Stay in the I column because here's another one. I-22. I-22. N40 is next. N40, N40. And a G46. Sorry, G56. How about G56? That'd be a better number. G56. I-21. I-21. And next is the biggest B in bingo, good old B15. B15. I-17. I-17. And now it's the biggest number in all the bingo. Oh, 75. Oh, 75. Got another O for you, this time 66. Oh, 66. Lucky B13 is our next number. Good old Lucky B13. And an O63. O63. And a G54. G54. Another G, this time 59. G59. And a G48. G48. Excuse me. Oh, 62. Oh, 62. And an O69. O69. G53. G53. N38. N38. And an I-25. I-25. And an N45. N45. G58. G58. How about an O71? O71. G52. G52. Followed by the smallest O in bingo, O61. O61. I-23. I-23. And an O64. O64. G49. G49. And an O67. O67. N32. N32. And G57. G57. B14. Good old B14. I-27. I-27. The half-century mark is next with G50. G50, G50. B number 8. B number 8. And if we take the cube root of 8, we end up with B number 2. B number 2. I-28 is our next number. I-28. And G51. G51. How about the smallest I in bingo? I-16. Good old I-16. N39. N39. And an N42. N42. O68. O68. And B number 3. B number 3. Got another B for you, this time number 10. B10. N43. N43. And an I-20. I-20. Oh, got a phone call coming in. It may have come in before I called I-20, so not sure that one's going to count, but we'll see. And the winning number is on B3, which is several numbers ago, 4 numbers ago, so that's okay. Great. Now, unless you're a winner on that first game, get rid of the card, put it in the recycling. We don't need it anymore. But if you are a winner, remember, you got to take the card and turn it in when you collect your check. That's important. Okie dokie. So let's take a look at the next game we're going to play, which is, of course, the I game. Now, the I game is the second group in your package, and it's just the letter I that is called. 5 numbers usually. Prize board is $500. So let's load up the machine and play the I game. Here we go. First number up that counts is 28. 28. The second number that counts is 18. 18. Next number is 22. 22. The second last number we need is 20. 20. Here it is. Here's the ultimate number. Are you ready? 17. 17. So if you've got 17, 18, 20, 22, and 28 on the second bingo card in your group, phone 1-866-808-0215, and be sure to bring that card with you so we know the number in the free space. Remember, there's top and bottom cards. If you want on the top, be sure to give us the free space number of the top card, not the bottom one. Okie dokie. We have had that as an occasional mistake. And there's a phone call coming in. That's a good sign. I like that. And we got a winner, so that's good. That's good. So we're going to take a little break right now and give the phones a chance to get caught up, and there'll be a display where you can buy Lion City bingo cards. We'll be gone for a couple of minutes, give or take. See you soon. a surprise. That's okay. Now we're going to play the third game in our group, which of course, LI, it's the O game. Now we play what is called the small O game here. That is, only those numbers touching the free space count. Only I's, N's, and G's, and just the ones touching the free space. Prize board, of course, is $500. Let's load up the machine and play the small O game. Here we go. My favorite number in all of bingo is first one, I-27. I-27. Next one is also an I, this time 29. I-29. And an N38, N38. It's on this date in 1838, by the way, that John Wilkes Booth was born, the assassin of Abraham Lincoln, for those who are interested in American history. How about an N40, N40, N40. I-23, I-23. And an I-28, I-28. N33, N33. And a G48, G48. And if we take 48 and cut it in half, we end up with I-24. I-24. G60, G60, G60. And an I-19, I-19. Got another I for you, this time 26, I-26. G58, G58. And an I-18, I-18. Next is the smallest N in bingo, N31, N31. And an I-25, I-25. And if we take 25 and double it, we end up with G50, G50, G50. Not a phone call coming in, so hang on to this. Won't call it yet. We have a winner, and the winning number as of right now is I-25. So that's good. So we played the L game, the I game, the O game. It must be time now for the N game. Now the N game is played on the fourth card in your group. It's everything under the B and everything under the O on the diagonal through the free space, meaning ends don't count in this particular game. What does count, of course, is the prize board of $500. So let's load up machine and play the N game. Here we go. Oop. Almost didn't put them all in. Whew. Gotta be careful. First number up is I-17. I-17. G54. G54. Followed by another G, this time 48. G48. O62 is our next number, O62. And then we got a G, and it's a 52. G52. I-28. I-28. B number 6. B number 6. And an O73. O73. I-23. I-23. And an I-16. I-16. I-24. I-24. G57. G57. And an O71. O71. And a G50. G50, G50. B number 2, B number 2. And an O61, O61. B number 8, B number 8. And a G60, G60, G60. B number 3, B number 3. Followed by B number 4. B number 4. I-21, I-21. And an O72, O72. G56, G56. And a B number 10, B number 10. G59, G59. And an O75, O75. Another O for you, this time 68, O68. And an I-27, I-27. And an O67, O67. Another O, this time a little bit earlier, O66, O66. And an O65, O65. I-29, I-29. Followed by an I-26, I-26. Got a phone call coming in, okie dokie. Got a winner, holy sugar. That's on 065. Well, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go straight into the next game because unfortunately that L game went a little long, so I think we'll go straight into the full card game if that's okay with everybody. Oh yeah, almost forgot. By the way, next week we're on Tuesday. We're not on Monday. I almost forgot about that. Every day's a holiday for me, so it doesn't matter. But Tuesday next week for Lions TV Bingo. Same time, just a different day because of the holiday. Anyway, let's take a look at the game we're going to play, which is the full card game. It's in that last card of the selection. Fill in all those numbers, 24 to be exact. Prize board is $3,500. And don't panic if your numbers don't come up right away. It takes a little while to get all the numbers required. Let's load up the machine and play the full card game. Here we go. First number up is an I, I-20, I-20. Did you know a giraffe has a 20-inch tongue and it's purple? Just thought I'd tell you that. Always been fascinated with that's the guys that watch him eat. 070 is our next number, 070. Followed by an N42, N42. Got another N for you. Got another N, this time 36. N36. I-17, I-17. N43, N43. And an I-18, I-18. It was on this date of 1918 that Leonard Bernstein was born. Obviously, the author of West Side Story and several other great musical as well as individual music. A great talented guy. Leonard Bernstein, born this date, 1918. B, number 7. B, number 7. Got another B for you, this time 11. B11. O67 is our next number, O67. And an I-19, I-19. B number 10, B number 10. N33, N33. N39, N39. And an I-22, I-22. Oh, 64, oh, 64. And an N44, N44. G56, G56. And an N34, N34. Another N for you, this time a little bit smaller, N32, N32. I-24, I-24. And an O-73, O-73. Now we got the half-century mark, good old G50, G50, G50. And a B number 4, B number 4. And if we take 4 and cut it in half, we of course end up with B number 2. B number 2. O-63, O-63. And a G46, G46. And a G57, G57. It's on this date in 1957 that the great Canadian athlete Rick Hansen was born. He was around the world tour in a wheelchair. Rick Hansen, tremendously talented guy. Born this date, 1957. B14 is an important day for Canadian history. Why? Because it was on this date in 1814, Canadian and English troops went down and burned the White House. Yep, in the War of 1812. Of course, Americans came up and burned York, or Toronto, so yeah. Yep, it was an easy win, I guess. 1814, Canadians burned down the White House. B12 is our next number, B12. And the biggest B in bingo is next with B15. B15. G47. G47. And a G55. G55. O72. O72. And an I-23. I-23. And an O-66. O-66. And a G53. G53. So on this date in 1853, the potato chip was invented by a guy named Crum, interesting enough, from Troy, New York. Yep. Potato chips invented this date, 1853. That's how long they've been around. Yeah, there you go. I-30 is our next number, I-30. B number 8. B number 8. G51. G51. And an N37. N37. It was on this date in 1837 that galvanized steel was invented by a guy named Crawford in London, England. Yep. So we've had galvanized steel, or tin plate, I guess you call it now, invented 1837 on this date. I-21 is our next number. I-21. And an O62. O62. B number 5. B number 5. And a G48. G48. N35, N35. It's on this date in 1835 that the Sun newspaper in New York perpetrated the Great Moon Hoax. They claimed they saw people coming down from the moon and they were going to invade and all sorts. It was crazy. And people believed it. They believed it. So that just gets to show you that people will believe anything sometimes. Anyway, the Great Moon Hoax, this date, 1835, a stunt by a New York newspaper. O74 is our next number, O74. I-29 is our next number, I-29. And that lucky number again, B13. B13. And G60. G60. Approximately 60% of all Canadians live in either Quebec or Ontario. Yep, 60% of the population's in those two provinces. Kind of interesting. G54. G54. And B number 9. B number 9. It was on this date in 1609 that Galileo demonstrated his telescope. Yep. Made a big impact in the world eventually. Galileo demonstrated his telescope this date, 1609. There you go. I-25. I-25. And B number 3. B number 3. G58. G58. And an O75. O75. Oh, we should go from the biggest number in bingo to the smallest with B number 1. B number 1. Oh, got a phone call coming in. Okie dokie. I think that was before I called B1, so sorry. And we got a winner, and that's an O75, which is the number before B1. That's good. So I think I can tell you some of the winners so far this week. Little drum roll here. L game winner, just one. June Adair Simmons, purchasers at Stan's Confectionery in Brantford. Congratulations, June. I game winner, a whole bunch. Lisa Reed was one, purchasers at Mum's Variety in Brantford, along with Lynn Roy, purchased hers at Willow Smoke and Gift in Guelph. Warren Cunning was another winner, one of the little short stops in St. Agatha, along with Esme Fegan, purchased hers at one little short stops in Rockwood. Good stuff. No more I game winners. Okay, O game winner, we just got one. Sharon Kidaba, purchased hers at Daisy Mart on McKay Street in Cambridge. Congratulations. End game winner, again, just one. Nikki McColeman, purchased hers at Telly's Variety in Brantford. Good stuff. Actually, the timing worked out pretty well. Remember, next week we're on Tuesday, so be sure not to get ready on Monday. Tuesday's the game because of the holiday. And I can tell you honestly that had a great night tonight. It was kind of fun. Things worked out fairly well despite their first game. And so from all of us here at the studio and Lions Club members all around the world, wish you all the very best. Good night now.
This is Rogers TV.
We'll have a house party. We don't need nobody wasted time. Oh, I wasted time.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
Steph here from The Cruise TV, the show where we talk about the people and stories behind the coolest cars on the road. Join us on Sundays at 8 p.m.
Kitchener's perfect music mix is on Chime 96.7. So every song is someone's favorite song. On Chime 96.7.
Survey says Celebrity Family Feud is wild.
Name something your mate's booty has in common with the basketball.
It bounces.
We get some answers I didn't even know you could say on TV.
This is Rogers TV.
The following program is presented by Ballinran Entertainment. As Southwestern Ontario's largest film, television, and digital media studio, we illuminate extraordinary stories, sharing them with the world. Breaking the silence, building bridges, and shaping stories.
Growing up Chinese in the 1970s in Canada was not, it wasn't a fun thing. It was just ignorance. People did not understand. So I think that Asian Heritage Month comes a long way in that. How do we continue these stories? We need to make these stories and the information more accessible, and we have to make it interesting.
I really don't know where to start with my guest today. I could start with the fact that this is May, and it's Asian Heritage Month in Canada, and my guest is Justin Poy. Now, Justin Poy has a bio that is never-ending because of his great accomplishments in the multicultural community. He's a distinguished figure in advertising and media. He does a lot of philanthropic work for the Asian and multicultural community across Canada. And he and I have a personal connection. Not only did we go to the same alma mater, Toronto Metropolitan University, we're actually business partners and working together on a film. So I can't wait to talk to you, Justin, and maybe you can fill a little bit more background on your long resume.
Sure. I started my agency at a very interesting time. I graduated from what was then Ryerson in the early 90s. And it was a time when there was a huge influx. Anybody in Canada at that time remembers a mass influx of Chinese coming from Hong Kong. Hong Kong was being handed back to the Chinese government in June 1997. And there was a little bit of a panic. That subsided eventually, but we had a huge wave of immigration. I think in one year we saw almost 400,000 Hong Kong Chinese come into Canada in one year alone. So when I graduated, I thought, well, this is a pretty good opportunity to start not just an ad agency, but one that helps Canadian companies reach all of these new immigrants. And that's really how I got started in the whole multicultural space, getting involved, deeper into the Chinese community. And that's essentially was the beginning of all the things that I do now.
And community advocacy is also in your family heritage. So give us a little bit of a hint of how you grew up surrounded by giving back, that theme of giving back to the community.
So it's something that's kind of unique when you look at the Chinese diaspora from that part of Asia. People from China, for example, do not have a history of giving. Anybody in their 50s and 60s grew up during communism, and really the whole idea that the state looks after you and looks after the people means you don't really have to give anything back. You just take what you're given and you live. But Hong Kong was very unique in that it was a British colony, and anybody who knows about philanthropy knows that England is probably the UK is probably one of the most philanthropic countries in the world, and which is why a lot of charities set up their global head offices in the UK. And so my family is all originally from Hong Kong. My grandfather, Richard Charles Lee, was my mother's father, was a very philanthropic man, and that carried on in the family. He taught his daughter, and his daughter, my mother, was the one who got me involved. And actually, growing up Chinese in the 1970s in Canada was not. It wasn't a fun thing. It definitely wasn't a cool thing. There was nothing cool about being Chinese in the 1970s. People saw mostly Kung Fu, Bruce Lee. There's a few Chinese restaurants in Toronto at that time, not many, and certainly not good, not like what we have now. And so growing up, I was in a little bit of denial. I just, you didn't want to be Chinese. But then as I got into my 20s, right after I graduated from Ryerson, my mother said, I think you should volunteer. And at the time, there were a lot of Chinese charities that were sprouting out up all over across Canada. What was happening was that people who came from Hong Kong realized there aren't any nursing homes where I could put my parents and they speak Cantonese. They're not, they don't want to eat roast beef and potatoes for dinner, things like that. So there were all these charities that started up, and one of them was the Mon Shun Foundation, which ended up building the first nursing home in downtown Toronto, right near the AGO on Beverly Street. And they also had Chinese schools. They did a lot of fundraising, and they actually partnered with the Jewish community, which was another community that felt that their elderly needed to be looked after a certain way. And the Mon Shun Foundation since then has grown tremendously with homes all over the GTA. But it was really that organization that's very dear to my heart because my mother sort of force volunteered me to get involved, and we sat on committees together, and that was the beginning of what she instilled in me, and which I carry on to this day.
And your mother was a role model, as you said, but she was also a Canadian senator. Tell us about your the influence of your mother and your aunt.
So, well, let's see, where would we go back? When I was growing up, my mother was your typical 1970s housewife. She had a degree already from McGill in history. She was raising me and my brothers. She really was very hands-on as a mom, didn't want to detract away from being a mother. But when my younger brother started going into full day school, she decided she would go back to